Hey guys, I wanted to come on and really just to share a funny story with you in my capers of trying to figure out how to make a ironing surface. First I'll share my story with you, and then I'll give you my tips because I have never done anything like this before. Um, my husband and I have been to the home improvement store many times. Mostly, we've had many date nights there, I'll tell you that. Um, so I have been watching some videos, DIY videos, on how to make a large ironing surface, and I needed a table. First of all, my ironing board was getting the cover on it was getting really weird. So I thought, I'm going to do that. I can do this. Well, I knew that I didn't really have the tools to do it. So I knew what I needed. I needed a piece of wood of some sort to cover, and then I can put that on top of a table. And that's pretty much all I knew. I knew I needed a staple gun. And I have seen my husband go in and get plywood before and have it cut. So I knew I could do that. But talk about intimidation going in there and trying to do this all by myself. I was so grateful for the couple of gentlemen there that helped me. But okay, so I walked in. I'm pretty confident walking in. I knew where the wood was, and I went back by the wood. I noticed the wood cutting area. There was nobody around, so I started looking by the power tools where I could find a staple gun, and I didn't see anything, and I thought, well, maybe I'm looking in the wrong place. So I walk a little further, and I stopped this man, and I said, hey, do you work here? He goes, no. So I was like, oh, okay, you have on the same color shirt, and I just thought you worked here, sorry. And he just kind of looked at me and turned around and walked away. And then I find somebody in a vest. You know how at the home improvement stores they wear these vests, and I thought, oh, okay, he works here. So I obviously don't pay much attention when I go in there with my husband, because here's all these details that it just didn't occur to me. So I asked this man in the vest, I said, where can I find the cheapest plywood to get cut, and where can I find a staple gun that I can handle? And so he said, the staple guns are down here. He pointed, and I found the staple gun, okay. Yay me. And then he goes, and then you can go to the pro counter to ask someone there to cut wood for you. You're going to have to get the wood first, and then. So I was like, okay. So I find the staple gun, and I chose this. The staple gun is a story in and of itself, and I'll tell you that in a moment. But here's the staple gun I chose. Very easy, lightweight, and it's by Arrow. And super easy. It told me what kind of staples to pick. And I got a box of staples. Okay, so far so good. Then I go by the pro counter, and there's nobody waiting in line. There's two guys behind the counter. One guy, these are older gentlemen, I would say maybe in their 60s. I go up by the pro counter, and first of all, it's the counter's, you know, high up. So it's pretty much like you're seeing me right now. You're only seeing my head. That's how I felt at the counter. So I'm going up to the counter. The one guy just looks at me, doesn't say a word. I say hi. He goes, hi. That was it. So I thought, all right, well, I'm going to try and break the ice because obviously they don't get women that walk up here very often. So I said, well, I'm not pro, obviously. And I expected a chuckle, and they just poker faces looking at me. So I was like, okay. So I said, well, the gentleman down there told me I can come here to ask for some help to get some wood cut to size, a piece of plywood. And he goes, okay, what size do you need? And I said, 13 by 15. And he said, okay, do you have your plywood? I said, no. I said, can you point me in the direction of just whatever your cheapest plywood? Because, you know, I don't know if you know, but there's like 3 rows of wood. And then, so he points and he goes, follow my finger, look, act like you have x-ray vision and look at aisle 46. So I'm looking at his finger, pretending I have x-ray vision. I'm like, okay, thanks. So I found the plywood. This is an extra piece that I got. So, I mean, he told me by the measurements that I needed, he told me that I needed a 2x4 piece of plywood. So, so I found the 2x4 piece of plywood that is very thin. It's a 1/4 inch in thickness. And so I was like, okay, now I just need to get it cut. So I'm walking around and I catch somebody in a vest that's walking past me. And I said, is there someone that can cut wood for me? And he just looks at me, poker face, and said, okay, he looks at these 2 guys that are down the aisle. He says, can someone cut wood for her? So this young guy came and helped me, and super nice. I was so grateful for somebody nice to help me. And so he asked me the measurements, and then I showed him my box of staples, and I said, can you tell me, are these staples okay for this plywood that I chose? And he opened the box and he said, yeah, you'll be fine. So, okay. So then I'm done and I get home and I'm going to show you what I did. So I chose this table from Hobby Lobby. It has 4 cubbies and it's perfect. I can keep my starch here, and this is right at hip height for me. And I want to show you what I did. So I took the ironing board cover off of my iron. I just laid my plywood down on the ironing board cover and cut it to size. So I cut either end off and kept the middle. I also took the elastic out so that I can reuse the elastic. All right, so here was the tricky part. I figured out how to put the staples in the staple gun. So I thought, I'm gonna just try the staple gun before I get too far. So here's the back of my piece. And I have the middle part of my ironing board cover in, under this, this fabric. I used Lori Holt's wide back fabric. You can probably see a good view of that. All right, so I thought, okay, I'm gonna put a couple staples in it, see how this staple gun works. So I'm stapling and it's not working, and I'm stapling and the staples are just falling out, and I'm like, man, what is going on? I thought, okay, maybe it's not a sturdy enough staple gun for the wood I bought. Well, I was holding it backwards. I should have looked here. So the staple gun, actually, you hold it this way. I was holding it this way. So that's why my staples were coming out the wrong, it was coming out the right side. It's just that I wasn't holding it correctly. Okay, so that was another learning curve for me. Okay, so obviously I'm not adept at tools or navigating the home improvement store by myself, but I did it, and I'm so excited with the results. So I finally got the cover on and putting it right on top. So I recommend, when you're measuring your tabletop, to measure about an inch less for the surface that you're going to cover, and then put it on top, because with the thickness of all the layers that you're stapling on, it comes out just about right. So that is something that I would definitely keep in mind when you're getting your wood cut to size. Just do it about an inch less length and width. So anyway, I just thought that I would share that funny story with you, tell you some of what I learned, and show you the products that I purchased to make this. Super simple once you figure out how to get what you need and work correctly what you got. Okay, so thanks, guys. I hope that this was helpful and funny and made you laugh today. Talk to you soon.